Leadership, 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 success, success, success. Hi, my name is Jonathan Medina. I'm America's #1 youth motivator. I'm your teacher, I'm your coach, I'm your friend, and I'm your teammate. And today we're talking about leadership and success. Hey guys, it's National Gear Up Week, so I want you guys to be super pumped, super excited. This is an amazing week. I'm so excited to be with Mart High School. Thank you, Miss Curry, for inviting me and Region 12 Gear Up. It's September 21st to the 25th is National Gear Up Week. Let's go, Mart High School. Now, I bring that up because I want to tell you guys about what's going on today. Today, I'm going to go right to the bottom. I'm going to share with you guys how one of you guys can win $100 as a prize today. And then I also want to talk about a personal pandemic, tradition, and ninth grade. Now, you may be wondering who I am. If I was at your school, if we were doing a school assembly, if we were running a camp for you guys for multiple days or something like that, we would have someone like Miss Curry introduced me, and she'd probably say something like he's spoken to over 1,000 schools nationwide at places such as Harvard and Texas A&M, over 1 million reached, and that's people in live audiences, not online the way we are today, but in live audiences. And then Georgetown University football player, started for 2 years, and have been featured on ESPN, NBC, ABC, Fox, TED as a best-selling author. That's a brand new one, guys. And many of you guys are going to receive my book for free. It's Student Leadership Playbook. And then I also broke the record at McDonald's for the most Happy Meals eaten in one day. If you guys want to, I'm going to give a special gift for someone. So go ahead and comment and guess how many McDonald's Happy Meals I ate in one day. It's not an official record, so you can't go and find it anywhere. So don't worry, don't try to Google it. Just take a guess. I'm going to get somebody that special prize. But before I was breaking records at McDonald's, before I was a student leader, before I was going and speaking cross country, best-selling author, before all that, it all started with a vision. One of my favorite quotes, it says that without a vision, the students lose. And so today I want to change it to without a vision, the people perish is the original quote, and I'm changing it to without a vision, the students lose. I bring that up because 2020 was supposed to be the year of vision. Many people had called it out. They were saying like 2020 vision. They were making it all about vision and how this was going to be a very special year. And so I want to know for you, what is your vision that you had for 2020? What is the vision that you wanted to accomplish? What is the vision that you are going after in 2020? So vision being, what are your goals, your dreams, your aspirations? What is your vision for 2020? And then I want to know what your vision is for 2024. What is your vision for graduation? I want you to imagine that. I want you to have a vision of that. I want you to think about what it's going to feel like when you walk across that stage. What is it going to feel like when your parents are so proud of you? What's it going to feel like when you see your mom and dad crying, when relatives come from all across the state, maybe even all across the country to see you walk the stage, graduate? I want you to think about and imagine what that's going to feel like. And then I want you to think about 2030. I want you to think about the 2030 vision that you have for yourself. 2024, you're graduating, you're going to college. What are you going to be doing in 2030? Are you going to have a professional career? What kind of career are you going to have? What kind of family are you going to have? What kind of income are you going to have? What kind of house are you going to have? What kind of car are you going to drive? What kind of family? What kind of things are you going to donate money to? What kind of leader are you going to be? I want to know about that 2030 vision. What is your 2040 vision? What is your 2050 vision? Again, because we're always thinking without a vision, the students lose. Without a vision, we lose. And so we need to know what that vision is. We need to think about it. We need to craft it, because 2020, as crazy as this year has been, it's still continuing on. 2024 is going to come. 2030 is going to come. So we need to have a game plan. We need to know the vision that you have for 2024. Now, I bring that up because tradition is so important. I want you to start a tradition. I want you to start a tradition that is going to create success for you. One of my friends, he went to Texas A&M. They're super known for all these traditions, but some of them get passed on, and some of them are very specific that students do that go down deep inside of them, that It's designed so that way when they leave there, they're not going to carry the tradition just while they're in school, but they're going to keep it going. And so I want you to do a tradition of, the things that we do in National Gear Up Week, things that you're going to accomplish, things that you're going to participate in. I want you to make them a tradition. So you're like, oh, every single year I'm going to be researching colleges. Every single year I'm going to be wearing college shirts. Every single year I'm going to be posting positive things. Whatever it is, the things that you all do for National Gear Up Week as participation, whether this year probably a lot of social media stuff, but I also want you to think about the tradition that you can make. I'll never forget my first college visit with Gear Up. I remember I was a former Gear Up student, so in case you didn't know, I was a former Gear Up student, and I went on my first college trip. I'll never forget going to Texas A&M. I remember getting off the bus. We took a 5-hour bus ride from where I lived in South Texas all the way up to College Station, and I get off and I remember seeing all the buildings and imagining myself going to college there someday, or going to college like that. I imagined what it would be like to be in the cafeteria. I imagined what it would be like to be at the football games. I imagined what it would be like to have a dorm in a university. No one in my family had ever gone to college. No one in my family had ever had a vision of going to college like that. So I wanted to start the tradition. I wanted to start the tradition that my family was going to go to college. I wanted to start the tradition that all future generations are going to go to college. I wanted to start the tradition that I was going to have a career. I wanted to start the tradition that I started a business. And so I wanted to create new traditions in my family. I wanted to be the one to start the tradition, and then I want to help the tradition to carry on in the future. And so that's what I do. I've already taken my cousin. She had never gone on a college visit, so she's only in the 7th grade. She'll be 7th grader this year. And my cousin Elida, I grabbed her and I took her to visit a college so that way she could have that same thing, that same vision. I told her the same story that I just told you about how I imagine going to college someday. So what is the tradition that you're going to start? Is going to college a tradition that's already been done in your family? Maybe you're the one that's going to start the tradition. I want you to understand the power of traditions, because from now on, everyone in my family is going to go on college visits just like that. Now, one of the cool things, just like going on a college visit, the more you read, this is a quote given to me by Miss Curry, the more you read, the more things you know. The more that you learn, the more places you go. Say it with me, everyone. Say, the more you read. Okay, type it in the comments or write it down on a sheet of paper. The more you read, the more things you know. The more things you learn, the more places you go. One of the things that I tried to do is I bought this college book with all of the places, the universities. I was doing research because back then we didn't have as good of internet, and I didn't have internet at home, so we had to get these books. And I would open the book and I would go through the pages, and start to research and imagine all the places that I could go to college. And so just off of that, I was reading and I learned about universities in California, universities in Texas, universities in Michigan, universities in DC, universities in New York. And so I went on this personal college tour. I was thinking about all the places I could go. But the same thing happened when I was reading all the other books. And, every time I read a book and I thought about the places I would go. Every time I picked up. I think I saw that a lot of you have the same book that I read when I was in school about how to prepare yourself for college, or the 21 things you must do. And so I was reading that, and even though I was just a high school student, I was imagining I was going to college because I was preparing myself. And so the same way, I want you guys to prepare to go to all these places. Now, I want to encourage you guys to have the best year, even in the pandemic. See, there's a lot of people, like I said before, they had a vision for what 2020 was going to be. They had a vision of what they were going to do this year, but then they've allowed themselves to lose that vision. They've allowed themselves to let go of that goal. They've allowed themselves to say that, well, this year we had a pandemic, so I'm just going to put pause on my vision. I'm going to cancel my vision. And so what I want you to do is I want you to not cancel your vision. I want you to, even though we are having a pandemic, I want you still to have the best year ever. For me, I'll never forget going into the 9th grade. I remember I was running to the school. I had started off when I was in middle school, I was a football player. I had a vision that I was going to be a great football player someday, but I started off on the B team. I was terrible. And so my coaches, they put me aside. They put me on the B team. My coach, he looked at me. He was like, you're short, or I wasn't that short, but you're slow, you're not fast, you're not strong, and you're gordo. And if you don't speak if you don't speak Spanish, gordo means strong. Just kidding. Gordo means chubby. But I bring that up because I was all those things at the very beginning in 7th grade. But I had a vision that I wanted to be a great athlete. And so I decided that I was going to do all the actions. I was going to go the place. I was going to do all the things that was required for me to become the great athlete that I wanted to be. And so I went every single day in the summer. We were running to the school. It was about a 2-mile jog. And so I would jog to the school and I'd start working out, and then we'd play basketball afterwards. And so I was trying to be, or to improve myself to be a better athlete. The same thing that you can do every single day to become a better student, to become a more successful. I want you guys to have that same experience. So you use all of National Gear Up Week. Every single day you're going to be doing something to prepare yourself. You're going to be doing something to bring into your mindset that you're going to be college and career ready. So I want you to be super active in the challenges and all the stuff that you do for National Gear Up Week. Well, every single day I'm running to school, and it's a 2-mile jog. Like I said, I have sweat coming down the side of my face every single day because it's hot in summer in Texas. And one morning I see my grandfather. He's eating breakfast at this restaurant right across the street, and I had not seen my grandfather all summer. So I'm so excited because my grandfather would give me gifts. He'd give me money. He'd give me sweet treats. And so I love my grandfather. I wanted to see him. I run into the school, or I'm sorry, run into the restaurant, and I see my grandfather. I walk over to him. He looks at me. He's shocked to see me, and he tells me, "Mijo, I've been looking for you for a long time. I've been looking for you the last couple of weeks. I have something to tell you." And I remember he looked me in the eyes and he told me, "Mijo, your mom's going to jail. Son, your mom's going to jail. And she's going to go for a long time." And my heart just sank. I went from being pumped and excited to being sad because I had been fearful that day would come. I knew my mom was doing a lot of illegal things, and I was worried that day would come. I had heard that our family would get split up, and that's exactly what happened. And so I had these plans, this vision for what my freshman year of high school was going to be like, and it just felt like it all got thrown out the door. I had to move in with my grandfather. My siblings moved in with other relatives. Our entire family got split up. I was having to work after school instead of just coming home playing video games. That's what we did with my mom's house. I was having to work in the hot Texas sun, out in the fields. My grandfather was a field worker, so that's what we had to do. My grandfather didn't get to retire. He had to keep on working to keep taking care of me, to sacrifice him. So he sacrificed. So we're all sacrificing. We're all having this hard experience because of what happened because of the decisions that my mom made. And it felt like we were having our own personal pandemic. It wasn't affecting the entire world, but it was affecting my family when my mom made those decisions. And I'm not trying to make the pandemic light. I lost a grandparent. I lost my grandmother during the pandemic. She got corona and she passed away. But I'll never forget that I thought everything had crushed around me. Everything had been destroyed around me. My family was separated. All these excuses, all these reasons why that year should have been the worst year of my life. But it ended up being one of the best years of my entire life. That's the year that I ended up making these amazing friends. That's the year that I ended up excelling athletically. That's the year that I became even more committed to my academics because I made a decision that I didn't want to ever follow the same path that my mom was following, where she was doing a lot of illegal things. I made the decision that I wanted to be a football player and basketball player, or because I had taken a year off because my mom didn't let me. And so I had got to be involved, and I got to go on more stuff with Gear Up. I got to do more stuff with Gear Up. I got to just be super engaged in school, super engaged in my academic success, super engaged in everything that I was doing, and ended up being one of the best years of my entire life. And so even though this year, there's a lot of reasons to say that this has been a bad year, but it's really up to you. It's really up to you to decide. It's really up to you to continue to push. It's really up to you to create the tradition that things are not going to have the same effect. This is going to go down in history as one of the big things that happened to the world. And people are going to ask you when you're an adult someday, what was it like? How was it like for you? What was the pandemic of 2020 like? And I want you to be the kind of person you're going to respond and say, hey, there's a lot of people out there that they gave up. They gave up on their vision. They didn't continue on. People were actually calling it the year of vision, and then everybody else was giving up. There was a huge pandemic, and I decided that I was going to start a tradition. I decided that I was still going to stay committed to my academics. I decided that I was going to have a vision. I decided that I was going to continue on. I decided that I was going to make it the best year that I could possibly make it. That's what I want you to be able to say someday. That's what I want you to say right now. I want you to say that I am a champion. I want you to say that I am committed. I want you to say that I'm going to start tradition. I want you to say that I'm going to create change. I want you to say that I'm going to be college and career ready, college and career successful. And so that's what I want to do. I want to help you guys celebrate National Gear Up Week. I want to give one of you guys $100, but that's nothing compared to all the other stuff that you're going to get when you create a mindset, when you create tradition in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, all about being college and career ready, college and career successful. So what I want you to do is I want you to it's at the bottom right there, as you can see. It's National Gear Up Week. So what I want you to do is I want you to enter. In order for you to enter, I want you to go to my Instagram. It's at @JMedinaSpeaks. At @JMedinaSpeaks. And I want you to comment on any photo. It doesn't matter which one. I follow all of them. So I'm going to post a ton next week during National Gear Up Week. So make sure that you just comment. Specifically, it'd be great if you commented on your video, because I'm going to post all these videos online as well on my social media. But I want you to hashtag GearUpWorks, hashtag National Gear Up Week, and I also want you to tag ED Partnerships. That's the national organization that supports all of Gear Up. And so just as a recap, this has been an incredibly tough year, but I want you to start the tradition. I want you to have the vision that you will have success. I want you to have the vision that you are going to go to college. I want you to have the vision that you're going to have an amazing career. I want you to have the vision that you're going to persevere. I want you to have the vision that you're going to start traditions. And so again, traditions, I'm so grateful. I'm thankful to Ms. Curry for inviting me to be with you guys. Thank you to Principal Sanchez. Thank you to Ms. Anderson over at the Region 12 Gear Up office. And so children, students, you guys are champions. All of you guys, class of 2024, all of you guys are going to have an amazing graduation. You're going to graduate and you're going to be ready for the real world. You're going to graduate and you're going to be ready for college. You're going to graduate and you're going to be ready for your career. So what I want you to do is I want you to say right now, I am a champion. I want you to write down the word vision, and I want you to think about all the traditions that you are going to start. And lastly, don't forget, it's game time.